Peace, y'all. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn witch finder general, and I'm live. If you got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. And then I got a good show for you guys today. Gonna show you a little about Khalil Amani and his walk in the Yahweh ben Yahweh cult. And let's see if any of these things that he went through relates to you. And let's play this track by Josh called Hoodwink, and I'll be right back with you.
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Cats always fall victim. See right through your prism and send them to the dark. Saul mesmerized by the heart. Where them demons go? To everyone who you call bro or call bro. That's why cats around even know y'all wanna put y'all in a box. Even insult the ZZ block. Calling cops on brothers just for talking to another. Mercy be upon all mothers. Praise y'all cause the devils can't touch us. We wanna say we bad abroad? No. With your own words caught, you try and hide what you bought. I'm a Judah, I'm nothing. Funny how nothing got their minds bugging. Just like you stole Christmas, but they mad cause you won't bear false witness. They gut cut and flip for the gymnast. Look how the legion moves. Self-proclaimed this and you the stooge. There's a difference between firm and niggerish. Firm rebuke is what the sentence is. Take it back to hip-hop, not oversized wooden flip-flops. You're falling down off the top, Rick Ross is better off on the beat like Primo's. Yahweh's words, man, do we need those? They save souls. Snatch your mind out control. Stand bold and no foes. They geek out on no-nos and they miss your rest. Balance checks so the wicked get it even distribution, let downs and boozing. Now your cleavers are heathen. Because he fell off what you're teaching. I'm chilled out like a seal beach. Enjoy the warm stuff for answers that you were seeking. See the light here. Word. Turn home. Y'all follow. A lot of cats out here traumatized. From these mind control. You know what I'm saying? Puppets. Gotta wait. But always know. Yahweh fights. Praise Yah. Those who have not. Don't be worried about what others got. Word. Look what he give you. Look at the wealth you have within. You know what I mean? He fills up your temple. Not any man. Wisdom. That's word. All praises to God, who is Allah. Head nod. Thanks for the beat. Lobster Bell. Beat selection. Thanks for the track. Number one.
And with our easy payment plan, $19.75 a month. You just put $20 on your credit card. The Son of Two come your way. The Queen, not for $169, but $89, or $22.25 a month with a credit card.
Why my TV tripping? And what the hell's wrong with my power button? Oh, the batteries. My brother must have took them out or something. I need to go to sleep and
wrong with my power button on my iTunes. Yeah, peace, y'all. Peace. Killer B, the goddamn witch finder general. So I haven't been going on that much often. I've been really busy and stuff, trying to get some things in order over here, trying to get some better content for you guys. And damn, I got some real good content coming for y'all soon. I'm going to be showing some more fuckery that's going on in the Hebrew Israelite cults and the people that's been affected severely by the things and stuff that have happened in their walk and stuff in the cult. So I don't got too much time to get, about a good half hour, 45 minutes. So I'm gonna get right into this joint. If y'all ain't here with me, y'all ain't here with me. The ones that are, get the information. So that's the way it goes over here. So we can get right into this thing. I'm gonna do some commentary on this story about Khalil Amani when he was in the Yahweh Ben Yahweh cult. I'm gonna show you some similarities and some things I went through. And some things some other people have also went through. And probably some of you that have left the cult, or this video is for you guys that are still in the cult. And you know the things that they're doing in there isn't holy. The stuff isn't righteous. And it's just not, it is plain old wicked and not right at all. So we're going to get right into this thing here. Play this commentary. Right. And it's coming out of Cult Education Institute. You guys go over there and check them out too. They got some good cult content also for you guys to learn from. I support all channels and stuff that are here to tear down these cults and stuff and wake people up so they can get out and live their lives the way they were meant to live. All right. So with that, we get right into this joint here.
Decade. The killings are not the work of a lone madman. They are committed by a clergy of the devoted, willing to stop at nothing to silence those who defy their leader. This is the story of a man lured into Yahweh Ben Yahweh's world, who somehow manages to get out with his head intact.
There was nothing I wouldn't have done, including murder.
And later,
the news to you today is you're not acceptable to God. The news to you today is he's going to say, depart from me.
Like there was never a day when we went out to the park, played ball.
A woman follows a militant apocalyptic church leader.
I've lived 17 years out here, so I ain't really nervous. I mean, they can't do anything to me.
In 1981, a 25-year-old man is found dead, the victim of a brutal beheading in Miami, Florida. He is a former disciple.
My name is Khalil Amani. Most of my formative childhood was in Miami. And 7 of us, 4 boys, 1 girl, mom and dad, full household.
Before he becomes Khalil, he is born Lloyd Banks in 1960. As a kid, he has no idea he would one day renounce his birth name and fall under the spell of a violent cult leader.
I grew up as a Christian in the Baptist church. I've always been a child who wanted to go to church. I was baptized at about 10 years old. So I was always a spiritual kid. My relationship with my father was non-existent. Never held my hand, never hugged me. Although he was there the whole time, clothed us, sheltered us. But he never had a relationship with us. Like there was never a day when we went out.
All right, now check this out. I went through something similar like this, right? My father, hardworking man, great man, right? My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my father, he'll be gone to work before I wake up for school. And when I went to sleep, you know, he had the 1 day off a week and stuff, and he had to do things like cut the lawn and do all types of house things that he had to take care of in the house and go places. You know, he had to spend his little happy time and shit too. So there was a lot of off time with me and him. So there wasn't that connection. My dad was always just like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was straight up dude. Like, you know what I mean? And there was really no, like, what you call man, like, you know what I'm saying? So let's go, because I ain't got too much time.
Out to the park, played ball. He never rolled around on the living room floor with us. Just there, high and by, nothing more, nothing less.
Not
The only
saying
time
that
my father
didn't
touched
love
me
his
is when he
children.
was spanking us.
He was
I
a
don't know
busy
my
man.
father.
And like he said, the only time he got close to it when he was whooping your ass and shit. So okay, well, I got to step in. I used to get woke up and beat. You know what I'm saying? I beat my motherfucking sleep. I did some shit during the day. My mama beat my ass and shit. And if it's severe enough, she gonna tell my father about the shit when he get home, and he gonna whip my motherfucking ass. Wake me up in the middle of the motherfucking night and beat my motherfucking ass. And I go back to bed and shit. He go to bed and wake up and work in a couple more hours and shit and do it again. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
I was touched. Never had.
His emotionally distant father creates a void which Lloyd seeks to fill through other role models.
Yo,
when I was in the
other role models, right? I had music. KRS-One. I was into the punk rock scene, hardcore scene. On straight edge movement. Houston Today, Gorilla Biscuits. Minor Threat. Right? So KRS-One pretty much shaped the way that I thought. I was a vegan before any of these niggas knew what vegan was. I was a vegetarian in the early 90s and was vegan for like 8 years and vegetarian for like 11. Like total, well, like 11 years, and 8 years of that I was vegan. And this is before there was any vegetarian section in any grocery stores or any of that. That's before it was trendy, right? You know what I'm saying? So those type of things shaped the way I thought and the way I carried myself and the things that I was into.
5th grade, I actually had a social studies teacher who was really good at just allowing us to see what was going on. We're talking about 1968 when you had like Kent State, Vietnam War, and women's lib was coming of age, the Black Power movement. We were talking about it in school, but I'd go home and I wasn't reinforced at home.
I also had teachers in school. Sadly, none of the black teachers understood me, right? They saw that I was different than the majority of the black kids in the school because of the things I was into. And it was for a good thing. They didn't see it. I saw it. And a lot of other people saw it. And I had a lot of other teachers that weren't African-American that pushed me and helped me develop the talents and the things that I wanted to achieve as a young adult to lead into to be an older person, to be a full-grown adult. They helped me a lot in development. And I still thank and praise them to this day for the things that they've done for me that they didn't have to do. And the things that they taught me and shared with me about Black history and stuff like Haile Selassie and stuff. Through skateboarding, I got into Rastafarianism. And I had my history teacher telling me about Haile Selassie and the things that he's accomplished and what type of man he was and where that was in the curriculum in the school at the time.
By the time Lloyd is in college in 1979, he views religion with a more open mind.
One of my biggest hangups by this period was like, why is Jesus white? The guy's from the Middle East, why is he looking like a European? And I was starting to question just the basic tenets of Christianity. But it wasn't until I read one piece of literature that really began to shape my thought processes and take me to a different place. So I leaflet and it said, "Our true history, the world's best kept secret." And it was talking about how all the prophets and Jesus and God and all the people in the Bible were Black. Now I'm reflecting back to my Bible. There's nobody in there that's Black. So this literature goes on to tell me, turn to Job 30:30. My skin is black upon me.
Absolutely. KRS-One had songs and stuff about Moses and the characters in the Bible being Black, right? So with that, we didn't have the internet back then. So what I would do, my parents, I was blessed to have a large collection of books, encyclopedias. Parents spent a lot of money on encyclopedias and all other types of books that showed me how things work and why the things, how things how things were done and all types of stuff, right? I had all this stuff at my fingertips at home. So I would sit and I would have the whole living room floor full of encyclopedias, searching stuff. I'll look up Haile Selassie and he talk about Ethiopia. And I had that shit open, another encyclopedia open up about Ethiopia. and I would learn all these things, right? And I would want more knowledge. And I started to learn, Rastafarianism, Haile Selassie, the second coming of Christ. Christ was a black man and things like that. So that also made me go into my Bible where I didn't want to go to church because I always told me I didn't learn anything when I went there. I would just learn repetitive knowledge, right? So these things open my mind up wider to see things a lot more, right?
Well, Job is black. Turn to Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but handsome. Whoa, I didn't know Solomon was black. It changed my life.
Eager to discover more, Lloyd goes to a gathering where he meets the man who would change his life forever.
It was held at a little community center, and when this man came in, he had like 2 bodyguards with him, and he just began to talk about a lot of things I had read.
Now, notice that he had 2 bodyguards with him. Let's go.
And talk about it.
He calls himself Yahweh ben Yahweh, which means God, Son of God.
He was a very fiery orator. His eyes were quite piercing, and they seemed to be piercing my soul.
He is the self-proclaimed Messiah of the lost black tribe of Israel.
Now, you have a person at your fingertips right in front of you that will give you this knowledge and have these answers to these questions that you have, where I didn't have to wait for the new KRS-One album to come out. I didn't have to wait for the new who else I was into back then that was kicking a lot of that shit. I can't think of the names right now, but I didn't have to wait to the new skate mag to come out for Jeff Hartzell or somebody to speak about Rastafarianism, or to get a new board design that would have some Rasta shit on it, so I could get some clues to learn more on the Lion of Judah, the Scepter, the HIM with that man, and all these things, right? So now I have a real live person that's in my presence,
which he calls the Nation of Yahweh.
I was a sponge. I was a 20-year-old college kid looking for the so-called truth, and he'd say something which triggered me to ask myself a question, then he'd turn around and answer it.
There you go, right? What I was doing, I was reading stuff on through hardcore music and stuff, all of my friends and the bands and stuff, turning to Hare Krishna, right? I was studying the Hare Krishna thing because a lot of the people that I was into and stuff like that were into that. So I learned a lot of ways to live through that, right? And also went with a lot of the ideologies that I've gathered up, right? To live a better life and how to be a better person. And what are you saying? Damn, I lost track of what you just said. But let me continue.
And he would kind of look at me and smile, like I heard you thinking, and I'm answering your question. So from the first time I saw him, I was stood in awe.
Right. Now he said he heard what he was thinking, right? A lot of this comes from the people that he first knew, that he first met in this, right? And he asked them questions, and now he's going to the meetings, and the people that he talked to already conversated with Yahweh ben Yahweh. So when Yahweh ben Yahweh is going to talk, he's going to talk according to what you had in your mind. So you're going to think there's some divine, there's some divine presence that's in the room that is answering your questions spiritually. Know what I mean? Like, this is the divine thing. It used to happen like the coats I was in and shit. They used to do the same shit. I'm like, God damn, I was just thinking about this. But actually, I was just talking to this other brother about this, and he went and spilled the beans to that nigga telling my business. And now this dude's going to do a lesson to solidify my presence in the group, right? So they can further brainwash me.
Amazed, frightened, scared. And I also said to myself, I believe I'm standing in the presence of Jesus.
There you go.
He fit the Messiah profile.
There you go.
It was just life-changing. I no longer wanted to be
called. How this man got all the answers? I was studying the Wahabiism, the Moor, Nation of Islam, all this shit. When I met the Hebrew Israelites, these niggas was answering the questions and destroying all the other ideologies that I was once in and once wanted to learn more about, like Rastafarianism. Haile Selassie wasn't an Israelite. He was the East Indian. Muhammad painted his fingernails and wore a skirt. The Quran says Israel is God's chosen people, right? You had all these things that they would just destroy that disprove so you can follow them.
Oh, Lloyd, my given name. I no longer wanted to have anything to do with society. I just wanted to learn more and much as I can about who I really was as a black person living.
So everything else was secondary. Everything else was secondary. It was about learning this because this is more important. Wisdom is worth more than silver and gold, right? Y'all heard that before. So that's what you add. That's what you supposed to seek knowledge, wisdom, understanding to the grave, right? So this is what you're trying to do because the people of the Bible, Solomon did these things. Solomon was a wise man. So you wanted to be like him. Let's go.
In America. Here he is, the God of the world, the Messiah in Miami came from me. Of all the 7 billion people on earth, he came from me.
See?
I'm the chosen people.
Khalil returns the following Saturday with his fiancée.
She ended up coming to class, and we ended up starting to go to the class together. The two of us embraced the whole package. And we met 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week. I was passionate for everything he was saying. From the first time I went to that class, I never missed another meeting for 5 years. And just dived headfirst into the whole thing.
In 1980, they get married and move into Ben Yahweh's temple.
Living in the temple from day to day, it was a community. Wednesdays, he'd come and speak in royal fashion with 10 bodyguards around him. And the band would play for him, and he'd come up on the podium and he would speak. And one time where he'd just come in my office and sit on the floor for a couple of hours and just ask me about my life. You know, I'd get to the point where we'd cry and he'd hug me, tell me he loved me, tell me I'm his son. These are things I had never, encountered with my own physical, biological father. He's actually taking care of my emotional needs. He's taking care of my historical needs. He's taking care of my religious.
There you go. So now, as you see with Joy Morgan, God rest her soul, as you see with all these other Israelite people, they found somebody or something to fill that void. And if you hear the testimonies of these dead people that died from being in these cults, their parents will tell you that they found a new home. They found this religion that they were very, very serious about, where to the point where their parents had to change their lifestyles to cater to their children, right? Where the mother had to cook separate meals from the rest of the family to suit your religion, right? And you want to move out to get away from the family and stuff because they're heathens. They don't live the way God wants them to live. I had somebody on Facebook the other day saying he wanted to move out of his house because parents eat pork. Like, what the fuck?
Spiritual needs, he's encapsulated all those things that I needed, that I was missing from my life.
Khalil is ready to give everything he has to the church. And that's exactly what Ben Yahweh wants, because he's not only building a spiritual empire, but also a financial one.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh was actually very well educated and had a master's in business.
Everybody had a job to do, and that job you lasted all day for like 16 hours. You did that job. We started printing our own.
What a man told me a couple years ago, I said this before. He said, "Yo, it don't matter where you go to learn, Israelite school you go to learn, but whatever you do, don't go in there and follow no cliques and being buddy with everything, because the next thing you do, you are fucking making garments for free. Now look at this, free labor that these people are printing all these books and all that stuff, right? And now in return, you get a place to stay, eat, and clothe and all that stuff for free. So now you got everything you want and shit. You don't need anything. So all you have time to do is to learn about this cult and push the cult to be bigger and bigger and bigger.
Bibles, our own literature, anything had to do with Yahweh products, we printed it right there on the premise. We had like soap and shampoo and hair grease and conditioner.
He built stores, shopping malls. Figures were saying his empire was worth $8 to $9 million.
Every cent went to the temple. You were a full-time worker for Yahweh. He was going to feed you, clothe you, and shelter you, and that was it.
Ben Yahweh provides direction for his followers, but his authority is enforced with an iron fist.
When a member did not turn over all their money, they were subjected to both physical and psychological humiliation and even torture. Part of that might involve being subjected to what was called the room of understanding. Essentially, the person who's accused would be in the center of the room, surrounded by other members of the nation of Yahweh, and would then be coerced to confess their sins, and at times they would be publicly beaten.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh expects total allegiance to his heavenly authority, and he would use this power to make
Brother, what you was doing out there in the world. You so happy that you out of this. Now you're talking about your past and all the things you used to do out in the world with these people, because you find that this is the all. Like, this is all there is. This, I'm here. Like, there's nowhere, there's no reason to be anywhere else but here, right? So you telling all about your past and all that stuff, right?
Followers do just about anything, no matter how evil.
I loved him. There was nothing I wouldn't have done, including murder.
In 1980,
see that? If the Tahar would have put the charge for us to do some shit, you don't think I would have did that shit? You don't think these niggas would do that now? These niggas came out their mouth to say some shit? They would go right there and do that motherfucking shit. And y'all know it.
81, Khalil and his new wife are among Yahweh Ben Yahweh's most devoted followers. As such, they are commanded to go forth and multiply.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh believed in making babies and sex, but he also discouraged it because he taught that if you weren't trying to make a baby, you shouldn't be having sex.
There you go. No premarital sex, which is something that I was into, being a straight ass skin premarital sex thing. When I came into the Hebrew Israelites and stuff, it was still being practiced, but now I can just sleep with someone that's not of the nation and have my way with them, as long as I don't get them pregnant, because children of the unrighteous bed should be rooted out, right? So when you got a black woman, you didn't want to whore her out or treat her like a whore, but you wanted to have her as a wife. But in order to have her as a wife, she had to believe the things that you believe. And in most cases, that shit didn't happen.
Khalil and his wife have 2 children within 2 years.
He was guided by the Old Testament view that the Israelites would be a multitude like the stars in heaven. Like many cultic leaders, he had a strong influence over one of the most private acts that 2 people can engage in: sex.
He also has unrestrained access to all of his female followers, even the married ones.
For us who were full-time workers, and you live there and you're there day in, day out, you start to see certain things and you realize that, for lack of a better word, Yahweh Ben Yahweh was creeping. Like, he was having some relations with certain sisters within.
I seen it. I seen it in many places. That was it. The little special meetings with the sisters behind literally closed doors.
The temple. If I wanted to talk to Yahweh Ben Yahweh, I had to kind of wait till he appeared and try to talk to him. Women could just, for some reason, go to his office and talk to him about whatever.
Ben Yahweh even goes so far as to become a sex ed teacher for all the women in the church, including Khalil's wife.
He had peculiar gynecological teaching classes in which the examination procedures that women used on each other was bizarre, to say the least.
In his lectures, he calls for women volunteers to come forward. He demonstrates female hygiene practices on them, and even teaches women to blow into each other's birth canals to give CPR to unborn babies.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh, like a lot of cultic leaders, injected himself into his members' sexual lives, and in essence, was controlling.
Sister, if that brother is doing anything wrong, you come to us, right?
Of their sexuality.
Not only does Ben Yahweh control their behavior in the bedroom, he instills a belief that everything outside the church is to be opposed, even the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh despised Martin Luther King. because Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, what was that? Jeremiah 14, those that I think it was Jeremiah 21, one of them motherfuckers. And it said that there'd be a dreamer of dreams that said that was, I have dreamed, right? They were saying that was Martin Luther King. That was one of the first things they teach you when you join the church. To don't like Martin Luther King and to demonize him and saying that he was with integration when the Most High is with segregation, right? So what you would do, you go out and deface everything that's about Martin Luther King. This is how we would go into these Spanish neighborhoods that had the Saint Mary and Jesus out in their lawn and shit, and we would destroy these idols. And there was a whole bunch of other idols we destroyed too. I ain't say everything and shit, but yeah, that's what we doing.
Believed in integration. Yahweh believed in separation.
Ben Yahweh tells Khalil and other followers they are duty-bound to act on their hatred.
He didn't believe in nonviolence. He believed in eye for eye, tooth for tooth, and life for life.
When a statue of Martin Luther King Jr. is erected just blocks away from the temple, Khalil is called to duty.
Me and a brother named Joe, we put on some regular clothes. We snuck down to the park, but I guess it was bronze or something. We couldn't cut the head off, so we defaced it. And the next day, they thought it was like the KKK or some white organization. When all along, it was the black folk right down the street.
Most of Ben Yahweh's subjects will do anything for their leader. But his authority is not absolute. A few church members secretly worry Ben Yahweh's radicalism might be dangerous, and they break away from the nation of Yahweh.
They just felt like he's not following scripture, so they decided to leave. But they began to do some things that Yahweh found disheartening.
The defectors start their own church, building on the foundation Ben Yahweh had created. Ben Yahweh sees them as cowards, unwilling to stand by him, the true Messiah.
This enraged Yahweh Ben Yahweh. He said that there would not be 2 Yahweh temples in Miami. He began calling them hypocrites. He quotes some scriptures about hypocrites dying and stuff like that, and said that if they continue to do that, Yahweh was going to kill them.
As the circle of 10.
There were 10 guys that stood around him whenever he went places, and they usually either had staffs or stainless steel machetes.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh is ready to go to war against a rival church. He would compel his circle of 10 to draw first blood. All Ben Yahweh needs is an opportunity. An opportunity which would come all too easily. On November 12, 1981, are targets of Ben Yahweh's retribution.
Myself and 8 or 9 brothers surrounded him and took him to a back room.
Khalil is ordered to stand guard outside.
I could hear noises in the room. I went and sneaked around and peeked in, and that's when I saw this guy on the floor, and people were stomping him and beating him. They had objects in their hands, and they were just hitting him.
If one comes to believe that their leader is a mission, and that in order to advance that mission, one must get rid of one's enemy, including murder. Is it that difficult to understand how someone might engage in that behavior when in fact
there is a conflict? You know, the inner self says, ugh, this is wrong. You know, I was conflicted. I was, you know, I think my eyes might water up, but I couldn't let my brothers see that I was having a moment because.
Yep, because they will persecute you. You were taught to believe not to have emotion, because if you had emotion, that was a sign of weakness, and that was a sign of a woman, and it's also so him wanting to go out and do harm to somebody when the people that have taught him all these things and to his knowledge have been right all these times to do something like this, even though it troubled him, he would still force himself to go do it. Because if he didn't, he will feel that he's not worthy enough to be in the kingdom of Yah.
That could be me next.
Green's attackers roll him up in a piece of carpet.
I could still hear him mumbling and moaning. He was taken out and he was beheaded. His body was left not hidden, left on the side of the road for people to see. Because Yahweh says when we fight wars or when we kill people, we don't hide the evidence, because we want, as the Bible says, we want people to hear and fear.
Y'all hear that?
The next morning, a jogger comes across Green's remains. When news of Green's killing breaks, then Yahweh fears Green's housemates, also Nation of Yahweh defectors, know too much. He deploys his henchmen once again.
We had two of our people go and ambush him at their home. They had a machete, had guns. So they were shot and cut up. Yahweh ben Yahweh meant serious business. He was informed of these things. He threw his hands up. Praise Yahweh. Yahweh is killing our enemies.
Police investigate Ben Yahweh, but have no evidence to tie the cult to the murders. Khalil now knows how ruthless Ben Yahweh can be, and is now driven not only by faith, but also by fear, to remain in his good graces. Unfortunately, he would soon get a bitter taste of Ben Yahweh's tyranny when he overhears a suspicious conversation between his wife and a friend.
Me and my wife had this argument one night. It was a misunderstanding, and we were talking in low, hushed tones. Her and her sister were talking about penises. And I kind of heard part of it, and I just kind of said to him, don't you think that's an unrighteous conversation?
Telling his wife would turn out to be a big mistake, because later that night, Ben Yahweh calls a meeting. Khalil is about to get his first taste of Ben Yahweh's wrath.
It's about midnight. All the full-time workers, we've all meet in the cafeteria, 50, 60 of us. Yahweh ben Yahweh comes in, he starts talking. He's very calm, he's smiling, puts his hand on my shoulder and says, what do you think about a brother who's concerned about another man's penis?
There you go.
And then I knew what was going on.
That, one of the first things they teach your house today with Tahar, before they were GMS, is shit that another man has, it's nobody's business when a man do with his wife in the bedroom, right? And for you to even question some shit like that is something wrong with you. Now, he heard these, he made, I forgot where I was going with this motherfucker. But the thing that what a man do ain't nobody's business. That's why GMS had an ISUPK talking about having anal sex with their wives. That you could do all types of weird, fucked up, retarded ass shit in the bedroom, and you're not supposed to say nothing, right? So that's another way for them to break you and break your motherfucking wife.
Just put my head down, and then he brought up the whole incident between me and my wife. And you can deal with that, but I want to humiliate you.
Every woman in the congregation from the age of 6 on up is to spank him with a large wooden paddle.
Just took turns. I had seen other people get beat. I had seen the violence, but the first time violence was perpetrated towards me. It killed my dignity. It killed my manhood. By the time they finished, probably had about maybe 30 women. And I was more sad for my wife, because now she has to walk around with the knowledge that you have a husband who's not really worthy to be a man.
Khalil thinks he is given a chance for redemption when Ben Yahweh calls on him for what seems to be a prestigious assignment, lead a push to recruit members in New Jersey. But it would also mean leaving his children and his wife in Ben Yahweh's care for an entire year.
He gave me a one-way ticket on the bus to go to Newark. No money, didn't know soul, didn't know anybody. He said, go. All he gave me was a box of literature. Said, go find your way.
Khalil leaves, unaware that Ben Yahweh.
Get your ass out of the way, because he know you're starting to see what's going on, and he can't have you around to put it in other brothers' ears, right? That was one of the things I was doing at IUIC. I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, you see this shit that's going on? You see that bullshit? Like, yeah, brother. Yeah, man, that shit crazy. And we said it to ourselves, and I could see, brother, on the other side of the room, like, yo, what is those niggas talking about, right? I hope you brothers ain't trying to stir no discord in the camp and all this bullshit. Fuck you, nigga.
Has ulterior motives. In 1984, Yahweh Ben Yahweh separates Khalil Amani from his wife and children and sends him on a mission to recruit new members in Newark, New
Now,
Jersey.
what kind of shit is that?
Going to Newark was a sign.
Leave your wife and kids at the motherfucking place and send you out to New Jersey to do all the flunky work and shit, right? And watch what happens.
I was honored to go.
After spending a year away from his family, dutifully building Ben Yahweh's following, instead, he discovers his savior and father figure has betrayed him.
Yahweh kicked me out of the main building where I live with my wife.
Kicked out the cat, huh?
He was replacing me in the bedroom.
He got a bunch of new members for you. And you just got a whole bunch of new members for him. And he kicked you out the camp.
Despite Ben Yahweh's abuses, Khalil cannot bring himself to betray the self-proclaimed Son of God.
I tell people, if you've ever been in a relationship and they really cheat, that is not good for you, but you're so in love with the ideal of being in love and being in a relationship that you stay. That's the same thing with the cult. You grow to love the abuser.
There you go.
No longer a favorite.
To love the abuse. You also love to be poor. You also love, and I ain't never been a poor motherfucking shit all my life. But when in the Hebrew Israelites, I love to embrace it. It was almost like a lesson for me. It was almost something that I felt that I was meant to deal with, to be able to deal with almost having nothing, right? And to go through so-called trials and tribulations, where the trials and tribulations were the effect of my actions of neglecting the things that I'm supposed to handle as a man and putting all my trust in this motherfucking group.
Favorite disciple, Khalil is relegated to peddling on the streets. He's expected to bring back a minimum of $10 per day. Failure means even further condemnation, something he would find out all too soon after a slow day on the streets.
I didn't make the quota. It leads to the room of understanding.
The room of understanding is where Ben Yahweh subjugates his followers through torture.
Your knees are on the ground and all your weight is going down on your knees. And there's guards in there with sticks. So if you decide to want to fall over, you get swatted with a stick. So there's all these other people who've been in there for hours before I even got there. Sure enough, 10 minutes in, I feel it. I feel the pain.
And the members want to kill him. They wish they could kill him because he's wicked. He's gone against Yahweh Ben Yahweh and the Most High.
5 years and all the bad things I'd seen. It was perpetrated by a black man.
Not by the white man, the black man.
Nobody white ever did in here for the last 4 or 5 years. It's a black man that's doing it. Here I am on my knees with nothing. This is my epiphany. I'm thinking, this is it. When it's time to get up, I'm going. I don't know if I have to be in there an hour, 2 hours, 24 hours, but when I get up, I'm out.
Khalil knows his wife and children are among Ben Yahweh's favorite disciples, and they will be treated well. As for Khalil, he must not be caught trying
And if you tell them, you don't think they're going to tell this shit and have them motherfucking killed? Shit.
to escape. Being seen as a traitor could mean punishment, or even death.
Run, Khalil.
I walked like I was going to the warehouse up the street, and once I got up the street a few blocks and looked left, looked right, there's nobody around, I just started running.
Run.
Faster and faster and faster. And I took my turban off.
Take it off.
But I took my robe off, put it on the ground. And I was flying. I was free.
Run.
My tears were cathartic. My tears were a releasing of the past. I was crying for my own deliverance. It was a me moment. When you're down there for those 5 years, you never have any me moments. You don't have time to think about what do I want, because your whole life is regimented, 16, 18 hours a day. It's all about the code. So it was a me moment where, damn it, I'm going to do this for me.
In 1991, Yahweh ben Yahweh is convicted of conspiracy to murder relating to the deaths of Nation of Yahweh enemies. He serves 11 years in prison. Then in 2007, his mortality finally catches up to him.
When I heard that Yahweh ben Yahweh was dying of prostate cancer, I said, if he's God, surely he can cure himself of cancer. But he died a mere mortal, like everybody.
Like everybody else. That's right, Pete.
The year is 1981. Nora Schmierer receives a letter from an old friend. She has no idea this blast.
All right. So that's the end of this. Right here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to you, Sister P, for tuning in, and all the other viewers and stuff. Make sure you go rewind and watch this video. There's a lot of information in here that's very vital to saving your fucking life, right? So keep your asses out the motherfucking coat. If you're in it, look around, see what's going on. Use this video to analyze the things that you see in there. And I'm gonna have more content coming, and I got witnesses. Killer B, keep those motherfucking receipts. I got real live eyewitnesses and shit that's gonna tell you the fuckery and the pain and the hurt and the things that almost caused that was life and death for them to get out of the situation and shit, right? So I gotta head up out of here. I might be on later. Peace to all of y'all. Fuck all you whole ass niggas like Chris Harris, Judah Nazareth, and all the motherfuckers that sit around and kiki with all these motherfucking cult motherfuckers and shit and trying to start your own motherfucking shit. Fuck all of you motherfuckers. I hope all you son of bitches die slow. Peace. Killer be the goddamn witch finder general. You got a witch, I'll burn their ass up every motherfucking time. Check my gangster. Test it. Peace. Bye, Pete.